Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary O'Connor with the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation and the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health here in Anchorage. Thank you for tuning in to Hangar Flying. This evening, we are back with Brian Soper, who works with the National Transportation Safety Board and is a former air traffic controller and an expert on air traffic control operations with the National Transportation Safety Board. We've been talking about pilot reports, or PIREPs, and their importance in providing real-time weather information to pilots and their other uses within the national airspace system. Welcome back to the show, Brian.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
We know that weather reports can provide critical information to pilots. Why would pilots not provide this information if they knew it would help other people?
Well, we found there's a few reasons that we know of, and we'd actually like to ask that very same question to the pilot community out there. Get us that feedback. What is the fear of giving those PIREPs? But a couple of things just offhand that I can think of is some pilots fear that either it's going to close down an airport for aircraft following behind them, or it's going to put them in a situation of an enforcement type issue or something like that. And so there's a little bit of fear of reprisal maybe to some. And then the other thing is some just are afraid that they might not have the right format. They hear PIREPs supposed to be in a right format, they kind of remember back, they don't want to get it messed up, they don't want to sound like that in the air, so they just go ahead and keep it to themselves and maybe don't pass it, or they get busy and they don't pass it after once they have time to it and to do so. So but there's a lot of reasons, but that's what we found so far.
Well, it seems that the benefits outweigh any disadvantages.
Absolutely. The benefits far outweigh the disadvantages to passing PIREP information. And I think that almost any pilot will tell you they love to get PIREPs.
Yes.
Because that's real. They know it came from somebody in the air. That's a real report of weather phenomena that they need to be concerned about. So yeah, certainly the benefits outweigh the disadvantages.
Are you looking at ways to encourage pilots to provide weather reports? Is that part of your investigation while you're here in Alaska?
Absolutely. That falls in that outreach side of things, to dispel rumors and urban legends and anything like that might be out there that's discouraging people from reporting, or maybe those that just don't know quite exactly who they need to call or what they need to do. By all means, we want to clear that up for them, because the more PIREPs we can get in the system, the better off we all are. So yes, we're definitely looking at ways to try to get pilots to report more PIREPs into the system.
So if we have a pilot in the audience who maybe hasn't given a pilot report since their student pilot days, can you just walk us through who they would call, what frequency they might use, what kind of format, or how and what to report?
Well, there are a multitude of ways that you can pass a PIREP, but if you're airborne, you're in the air, certainly the nearest air traffic control facility and or flight service station would be the best place to go. They'll be there. There are professionals and specialists there to take that PIREP information. I must implore, don't get hung up on the format of PIREPs when you're passing them. If you've encountered a weather phenomena that you feel is important, that other pilots are aware of and the National Weather Service be aware of and those type of things, pass it. Plain language works. If questions need to be asked to hone its accuracy, the controller or specialist will do that, and they can worry about the format getting it into the system so that it can be disseminated. The most important thing is that we get the data and we get the information.
So that could be through any whether it's tower, approach, departure, TRACON.
Absolutely. If you're talking to air traffic control already, pass it with that agency, with that air traffic control agency that you're with. If you're not talking to air traffic control, if you're VFR departing off a field, but you encountered something that you feel is pertinent, if you have the air traffic control frequency handy, dial it up, make the PIREP to air traffic control. They'll take care of it. And it really doesn't matter who it is. They're all one system when it comes to the National Airspace System, so that information will make it out there. So. Okay.
And you touched on this in our previous episode, but if a pilot is having a challenging flight, say there's moderate or even severe turbulence, and they're not comfortable during the flight to make a pilot report, can they call on the ground?
Absolutely. They can call on the ground. Obviously, the sooner, the closest to the time of the encounter is the best. But by all means, if you don't have time or there's too much happening, you can call on the ground. There's various methods to input a PI rep via the internet, through those that have ForeFlight capability. Lockheed Martin Flight Service has a way. You can call Flight Service Station. They will gladly take your PI rep. So there's definitely a bunch of ways, and we encourage you to do so. Don't just blow it off like I'm on the ground now, so I won't worry about that. Go ahead and make the phone call. Some places you can fax it in if you have fax numbers for flight service. There's a lot of ways to get it there, so don't be afraid to drop it in there.
It certainly sounds like you're giving pilots every opportunity to give a pilot report.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Brian. It's been a real pleasure having you on the show, and I hope that our audience will take it upon themselves to use this information and give some pilot reports.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been wonderful having this information from a controller's point of view, and pilots out there, please do give a pilot report the next time you're out flying. Until next time, fly safely.